And we're live.
Good evening. My name is Keith Bobbitt. I'm the camp director with Camp Raven Knob. I'd like to welcome you to our leaders webinar this evening. Hope you have your leaders guide with you and you can follow along with me as we kind of go through the booklet. And in doing that, if you're logged on to a Google account, you can use the live chat feature to the right of the screen. If not, you can also email questions to registration@ravennob.com, and we'll be glad to answer your questions as we move through the evening. We have had some technical difficulties getting set up this evening. If things were to unravel with that, we will switch over to Nate Todd, who will be broadcasting with us from his station down in Alabama. So at this point, we're going to start with the Leader's Guide. We'll start on page 5. On page 5, it talks about camp fees and reservations. In doing that, it shows you the fees for the scouts, the fees for adult leaders coming to camp, talks about provisional fees and half-week fees and so forth. As you kind of look through that.
Hey, Keith, I think we're losing you.
Yes.
So I'll go ahead and take over while y'all adjust that. If you'll turn off your camera, your audio might be better.
Nate, are we good to go?
So everyone, I'm Nate Todd with the admin team. You've probably talked to me several times through registration. We have 3 guys on the admin team, myself, Adam Moore, and Evan Lumberger. So anytime you send an email to those accounts, you'll get one of us. So let's talk a little bit about registration, and then once we can get Keith back on, we'll get him on. So everyone that's coming to Boy Scout Summer Camp should already have their unit account created, and their reservation will already be made for you inside the Tenaroo platform. So I'm going to share with you my screen really quick, and then we'll show you a little bit about the Tenaroo system. The first thing I want to show you is that Camp Raven Knob, ravennob.com. This is your go-to resource for anything you need for Camp Raven Knob. We have all of our different areas listed here. If you want any specific questions about program, you can look at this at Raven Knob website. Any questions you have about registration, those are normally always answered in this registration section right here. If you have a scout that wants to come to camp and they come to camp with your troop and then they love it so much they want to come back and you want to register for them a provisional scout, you can register for their provisional scout right here when you click provisional and scout day campers. This application right here, you just fill this out, put in their merit badges, and we will contact you back. On February 15th, we began session registration. And so February 15th, we began unit count registration. And March 15th, we began session registration. So we're now in session registration, and session registration will go up to 4 days outside of when you come to camp. You'll see the end dates. We have those listed on ravennob.com. Unit count registration ends on April 15th. So we need to know your unit count by that date. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't bring people or drop people after April 15th. It's just we don't allow you to increase or decrease your unit count then, because that's when we start ordering food and getting program supplies ready for the camp. So if you have any changes after those dates, just let us know through registration at ravennob.com, and we will take care of those for you. So I was going to walk you through a little bit about registration, just to show you a little bit about your week at camp. When you log into your account, if you for some reason have forgotten your username or password, please don't attempt to create a username or password. Just send us an email to our email address, registration@ravennob.com, and we will add you. We will get you that information. When you log in under Boy Scout Resident Summer Camp, you should see your week. It will say week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, or 7, and it'll say 2018. If you've attended camp with us in the past, you'll also see 2016 and 2017 on there. The first thing you'll see if you've not logged in to do anything is you'll see a 1 youth and 1 adult in this column here. Right now we're just showing youth because this is a test account that we don't really use for anything for camp. If you're trying to register scouts, the first thing you're probably going to think is, well, I'm bringing more than 1 scout. Perfect. What you'll want to do is you'll click here, change registration, and you'll increase your unit count to the number of scouts you're bringing. So if you're bringing 10 scouts and it says 1 to 1, you're going to put 10 here. And then if you're bringing 5 leaders, you'll put 5 here. And then you'll hit save. Once you hit save, that will update your counts here. Now, we require a $150 payment per scout for registration before they can register for sessions. So you would need to add that payment either here through a credit card, which if you go to the end here, let me change this so we can show you what that looks like. So you would need to either add the $150 per scout here and then go to your cart and check out. And then you'll be able to do your sessions. We take credit card or e-check. So you can uncheck here your 2 options. Now you will see when I click this drop down that there's more options. We have more options on the admin side than a troop would. So you will have either the e-check or credit card options. Some of the common things that I notice when people are having issues checking out is always make sure that this right here, if you're using a credit card, that the billing address is the same as the credit card address. That seems to be the number 1 issue. The second issue is if for some reason a credit card won't go through, is that you have a daily limit on your card and you'll just have to check with your credit card provider to see what that is. Now, if you're using e-check, obviously that works just like a paper check, and it's routing from your bank account. So if you just have your troop treasurer give you a blank check and they can write void on it, it will have all the information you need to do an e-check payment on the check. Their address is on the check. All this other information is on the check. And so you can do that. And that would debit it directly from your checking account. So after you've gotten your $150 payment done, you need to go in and register your scouts for sessions. So we're going to go to, once you have everyone in, once you have your unit count in, you'll then be ready for sessions. So first step you're going to do is check your unit roster. You're going to want to make sure that all the kids are in here. So you'll hit new youth. You'll type in their name. I'm just putting in stuff. The stuff in red with red asterisks is required, so you'll need to put that stuff in. We don't ask too much stuff up front, so you shouldn't have to register too much. Now, once you are ready for, once you have your roster built, you'll go into event registration. Now, for some reason, let's say you forgot to add a kid. When you hit new, you can actually add him down here if you've not got him in your list up here. So we just did test scout. So we're going to click new registration under the event registration tab, test scout, and create. This right here, you'll just verify all the information that you've already put in. If you have any special needs or allergies or anything like that, list those here and we'll export those out and give them to the Health Lodge. You'll hit continue to pick options. You'll see all the available options for a scout over here on the right. Now, some important information is based on the grid, that's what we have all these numbers. But if you also will type in the name of the person you're looking for, it will find that session for you. So let's say we're going to type in camping. It's going to show me all the camping sessions I have available. Now, one really cool thing about Tenaroo is once you select a session, let's say I choose free session first period and drag it over, it's going to take out all the other free session first period classes. So you're only then able to choose between second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh, sixth period, excuse me. We don't have 7 this year. So then we're going to choose camping. We'll choose weather. We'll choose environmental science. We'll choose free swim. Now, you'll also have options. You will not see this campership option. That is an option that's only for us at camp. And that's how we'll apply camperships for Old Hickory Council troops. You'll see this CRK troop photos. If you were a scout would like a photo, you can just drag that over as well, and that will put a photo on their account. So that's how we have all those things portioned out. Now, an important thing you saw earlier is on here on the side, it will show you the amount of spots available. So it'll have 16 spots available and 19 spots. You'll see also, like this engineering session, it was about full. So there was only 2 spots available. You will also see listed like this chest that when they are full, it will say full and there will be no spots available. So just make sure you can get registered as quick as possible. That way you get as many of your scouts in session as you can. Once you get done with their schedules, you'll hit save. It will take you to this screen here. You can either go add another youth registration or add your adult registrations. Adult registrations are just like the youth registrations. That'll also allow you to register for any adult-specific training you would like. Since you've already paid your minimum deposit of $150 per scout, you don't have to make your final payment until the very end. So you will just hit pay minimum required and hit 0 and hit checkout. Once you hit checkout, you'll hit submit your order, and then everything should be processed. And I think we have Keith back, so we're going to I'm going to send it back to Keith and see if we got him.
Okay, folks, we will try this again. And Nate, I appreciate you walking through that. Let's click in there and make sure they're doing this correctly. And that will really help catapult you into being in a good situation to getting your boys registered for camp and in the sessions that they want there for the week you're going to be with us. I'm going to pick up then on page 10, just past the registration information there, and we'll start there. It does mention at the top of page 10 some of the age requirements that we have for some of the merit badges. BSA lifeguard is required by national that all boys be 15 years of age as they take BSA lifeguard. We offer that with American Red Cross Life Saving, but a boy needs to be at least 15 years of age to take part in that program. The Outback programs are age 14, shooting sports are 13 and 14 respectively, and then the Trail to Eagle is age 13. We get a lot of questions about that as boys are trying to proceed down the trail towards Eagle, and we really recommend that boys be at least 13. Several of those merit badges that we offer in Trail to Eagle are indoor sessions. They're in a classroom setting for the entire week, and it really gets almost like a school setting when they're in there for multiple sessions. So we would highly encourage boys to be at least 13 to take part in that. Please work with us in that effort. And also, we have a limited amount of space in that classroom for those sessions. So we would all of a sudden be overwhelmed with 12-year-olds if we fill the room there. So work with us there. 12-year-old's got plenty of time to get Eagle. He's got until he's 18. So please work with us there on that, and it'll help the whole process all the way through. That's mentioned, again, down at the bottom of page 10 on age, maturity, and skill level. If you'll read that through and help your parents with that so they can understand, it certainly will make your scouts have a better week in camp with us. The BSA medical policies are also mentioned there. The standard BSA medical forms, there needs to be a new form for each scout and each leader coming to camp each year. So please make sure that those are completed and signed by the boys' parents as well as the physician before you leave home and come to camp. In that same effort, if you're leaving and coming to camp, please check your boys to make sure nobody is sick, nobody's running a fever. If they are, I know they want to come to camp, but please don't bring them to camp if they're sick. You take a chance on contaminating and having something contagious that's going to spread not only in your troop, in your campsite, but to hundreds of other boys while they're there with us. So please watch that. And if you've got a boy that's sick, maybe he can come up the next day or 2 days later. We'll help you with the fees on all that. We'd much rather do that than have a camp full of boys who take the chance on picking up some kind of a virus that's coming through. On page 11, pretty standard fare there on packing, standard equipment for the individual as well as for the unit equipment. There's some mentioning of items there of things we'd rather you not bring to camp, particularly personal firearms and sheath knives and so forth. that really don't serve a purpose in camp, and certainly no pets or anything along that line. Moving along to page 12. On page 12, it talks about the Order of the Era. Camp Raven Knob is closely affiliated with Wahissa Lodge. The two of them work together to put on a great program in the camp throughout the year. On Wednesday nights, we'll do a call-out ceremony there. If you've got boys that you'd like to have recognized, we'll need a letter there, as is it explained in the text, that will give us the approvals so we can call out your scouts and leaders to be recognized on Wednesday night at our family campfire. Transportation, that's pretty standard there as well. Please make sure that everybody is riding in a safe vehicle, that there are seat belts for the boys, that you're not overcrowded. If you're coming from a great distance away, make sure you allow enough time to get to camp, to have stops for rest, and to have meals and so forth. Take that into consideration in your planning. Tour buses, as mentioned there. We have a large parking lot at our maintenance area as you approach the camp. That's usually the best place to have tour buses pull in. We'll have our staff meet you there to help transfer gear to your campsite. We'd rather not have tour buses come down into the camp. The service permits and handicap permits are available there for individuals who need assistance or those folks that are helping us do projects in camp. On page 13, it talks about safety in camp and how to deal with injuries, fire safety, fuels, equipment damage, and so forth. Pretty much standard operation in the camp setting. On page 14, we get into the Merit Badge program. There's a list of icons there that we've developed over the years that are very helpful in helping you to design the program that your scouts will be taking. If you'll kind of read through those, you'll have a better idea as you see those later on with the specific merit badges the boys are wanting to do. And you can help them choose appropriate merit badges and help them balance out their week. Another key part of this is to look at where your campsite is in reference to the program areas that are near you and those that may be further away. If you look at the map and help your boys plan their schedules, it'll help them as they walk around the camp. Raven Knob is a good-sized operation, and we've got 36 campsites, multiple program areas, and it can be a pretty good walk from one site to the other. But if you'll help plan that as they go through the day, it'll certainly make the camp experience much more enjoyable for all the boys as well as the leaders. On page 15, we start in the aquatics area. As I mentioned a while ago, the BSA and American Red Cross Lifeguard program is a very popular activity for older boys to take part in. Please read through that. Make sure that your boys are physically fit and they've got good swimming skills before they take part in that lifeguard program. Canoeing is always a favorite at camp, as well as mile swim. And you'll see there the hours that those take part in as you move through. Looking on page 16 and 17 are more activities that we offer at the aquatics area. Aquatics at Raven Knob is very popular. Have a lot of boys down there throughout the day. A lot of leaders help with the safety of that. We've got a tremendous aquatics area, one of the finest swimming areas that you'll see in any scout camp across the country. And we've got multiple boating activities for the boys there as well. So please read through those. Help us with that as you move through. We have taken rowing and separated it back out this year. It is a freestanding merit badge. Rowing is maybe not as popular as it was some years ago, but it is a great skill for a boy to have. He can pick up some ideas there and some independence and learn something he's never had an experience with before. So think about taking rowing merit badge for those older boys this year. On page 18 is the handicrafts area merit badges. Arvel Sale will be back with us as our handicrafts director this year. I should have mentioned Ash Stemke will be our aquatics area director this year. But in the handicrafts area, Arvel Sale will be working with those staff members there. The merit badges that are offered are great for younger scouts to take part in. And if you've got boys in Raven Scouts in the morning, certainly consider having them in some of those merit badges and handicrafts in the afternoon. Shooting sports is a popular area. We have one of the nicest shooting sports areas of any scout camp in the nation. We've got a great shotgun range, rifle range, and archery range. And your boys will be using first-class equipment, and they'll really build up a discipline and a skill there and safety standards that they'll carry with them the rest of their lives. We've also have Venture Crew pistol shoot. I should mention that that is just for venture crew members. And we will want to make sure that those individuals, boys or girls, are registered with a venture crew before they can take part in the pistol shoot. Okay. Moving ahead there, in the nature area on page 20, in doing that, we have a great nature staff. Weston Mosley will be the area director there this summer. He's got a good team of folks working with him, and the merit badges that they offer are introductory merit badges into a lot of different science bases. There's some STEM activities tied in with that as well. Moving ahead then to page 22 is the Scoutcraft area. In Scoutcraft, we have a variety of different merit badges from archaeology to wilderness survival. You know, most merit badges in the BSA are set up to be an introduction to a skill pattern, be it wilderness survival or pioneering, orienteering, so forth. But cooking merit badge in particular is a little different than that. Cooking merit badge, which is now required for Eagle and has been for the last 3 or 4 years, is one of the most comprehensive merit badges that the BSA offers. When you have scouts involved in that, that's why we have a recommended age of at least 13. They need to have already been on several troop camping trips, helped participate in the ordering of the food, preparation of food on a patrol basis and a troop basis. If they've got that behind them, they'll have a great time in cooking merit badge. Cooking merit badge is really not designed for a brand new scout. And it's also something that a boy cannot complete in camp. There are several parts of cooking merit badge that must be done back at the troop level, back at home. So please work with us in that effort. And at the same time, if you've got a real penchant for outdoor cooking and you'd like to help our staff with that for the week, by all means, come down and jump in, and we can always use assistance in building fires and making recipes. We will have an overnighter on Thursday night for camping merit badge and wilderness survival. So boys, particularly in camping, will need to bring a tent with them, a backpacking tent that they can take out in the backwoods on the back part of the reservation. On page 24, we talk about the Outback Program adventures. Climbing, we have one of the nicest climbing towers you'll see anywhere. Terry Moan is our climbing director, does a great job with that. We have mountain biking. We have some mountain bikes in camp, but we highly recommend that boys taking part of that they bring their own bicycle with them. In doing that, they'll take better care of their bike. They'll know more how it operates, and they'll have a much better week. They should also bring a helmet with them as well. On Friday afternoons in mountain biking, the scouts will leave camp and go up to Galax, Virginia, and they'll do a 25-mile bike ride on the New River Trail back up through the mountain there in Galax, Virginia. So plan that into their activities. That'll be Friday afternoons in camp. The Cripple Creek program is headed up by Dave Brock. Dave is a true natural mountain man. He has a great program, an awesome staff. They'll work in the backwoods there of camp, about a mile away from the main part of camp. The scouts will live there for the week. They've got period tents, 2 or 3 log cabins they operate out of, a kitchen that is a great center for all the activities because these boys cook their own meals throughout the week. There's a hand pump water station, a cistern for the well that they will take their water up to, that'll then feed back into the shower house and the latrine. It is an awesome opportunity for older scouts and leaders to learn about primitive living and really just have a lot of fun in the backwoods of Raven Knob. On page 26, it talks about the Raven Scout program. Raven Scouts is what we call our first-year scout program. The morning session is set up and tailored just to tenderfoot and second class. The afternoon session is set up to be a program for first class, our senior Raven program. It discusses that in the material here, but we do not recommend that a boy take both of those. He should take one or the other, and that's usually based on where he is and his scouting abilities. If he's been in the troop for several months, been on several camping trips, moving well ahead, then yes, consider putting him in the afternoon program. If he's a new scout that's just bridged up, then that morning Raven Scout program is going to be ideal for him. It's a great program, a lot of high energy, a great staff working with him, in that effort. Max Krapige is the area director, and he'll look forward to having your scouts with him throughout the week. In the evenings, when those boys get back to camp, make sure you ask them what they've done. Help them with their skills, be it how to sharpen a knife or how to tie knots or what they did in first aid or how to hold a compass. Work with those scouts to go back over those skills and help reinforce those. Okay? Moving ahead on page 28 is the Trail to Eagle program. Caroline Bobbitt will be the area director there. There's several other professionals that will be working with her in the Trail to Eagle program. As I said earlier, these are sessions set up for older scouts to take part in. They are classroom settings in most every respect, with the exception of personal fitness, which of course is outdoors, but the rest of them are in an indoor setting, and they really are designed for older scouts to take part in. So if you can work with us in that effort, we sure would appreciate it. On page 29 is the technology area. That is a very popular area in camp. It is not centered in one facility. It's kind of scattered around through the camp, depending on where the activity takes place and where we have the facility set up. We have added chess and game design this year. Those are new merit badges to us on a full-time basis, and hopefully they'll be well received. They've already looked like they're pretty popular in the registration so far. The merit badges that are offered there are highly skilled. If you've got an adult leader that has a background in those and he'd like to assist, please talk to the area director and get him to show you where those sessions are being held. Nick Canzone is the area director there, and he'll be glad to assist you. On the next page or two there, we talk about twilight activities. We have cope course. It's a low ropes on cope that we will do on the evenings. The knob hike is a perennial favorite. You know, every boy wants to hike to the top of the knob, and some of these guys will do it several times over the course of the week. So consider making that a troop outing while you're there in camp. Of course, we do free boating, free swimming, tote and chip, climbing, frog hunt on Tuesday nights, troop shoots, just a lot of activities for your scouts to do in the evenings. Moving over to page 32, it talks about what leaders can get involved with. We offer a pretty comprehensive list of training activities for leaders to get involved with, from climbing to CPR, safe swim defense, aquatic supervision, and then there's things there just for fun that they can get involved with. We also have outdoor leader skills and the Scoutmaster sessions that you'll need to be fully qualified as a unit leader. We offer all of that over the course of the week. Think about those, kind of plan your week. Make sure you got enough leadership there to work with your boys, but it's also a great time to build up on your skills as a unit leader. Page 34 kind of walks you through the camp process of arrival in camp. We find that most of our troops nowadays do a lot of the prep work in advance. So when you get to camp, you're ready to move right along with the program. That's usually easier for your boys, and it's easier for our camp staff as well. Kind of read through this. You'll see we do unit photographs on Sunday afternoon. We do a camp tour for everybody, as well as swim checks and the health rechecks. All that takes place on Sunday afternoon. It mentions on the bottom of page 35 the personalized schedules. We've been using the Raven Knob passports for well over a decade now. And each of your scouts will get a passport that will have his name, his campsite, and his personalized schedule that will help him be more successful during his week at camp. If you have a change in the schedule, come by the administration building, and our staff there will be glad to print him out a new schedule to help him through the week. Okay? Well, a couple of questions. One of those is, if a boy's taking camping merit badge, in addition to a tent, will he need to bring a backpack? Yes, he will need a backpack. They will be doing a hike. It's not a full-blown 5-mile hike, but they will be hiking about a mile, mile and a half back out into the wilderness of the camp, and they'll be staying overnight and then backpacking back in the next morning. It's certainly easier to do it with a backpack than it is a duffel bag over your shoulder. We have activities in the evenings for troops to take part in. If you'd like to work with your commissioner about a specific activity, your commissioner will set your schedule up for the week. We're there to help you with that. Some of the activities, free shoots in the evenings, free boating and so forth, you can work with the area directors on those and get those lined up for your troop. Okay? Moving ahead then, the weekends, most everybody stays in tents at Raven Knob. We do have some Adirondacks where we'll have 60 new tents in various campsites across the camp this summer. Everybody has a bed. There's a floor in all of our tents, of course, for you there. That usually works on very well. There are pictures of our campsites online if you'd like to take a look at those. The daily schedule is pretty much standard fare for us. It's posted there at the top of page 36. We follow that pretty much Monday through Friday. Uniforming, we'd like for your scouts to be in uniform for the evening meals. If there's a change because of the weather, if it's too hot or what have you, we'll let you know that prior to the meals. In our dining hall, we seek cafeteria style. We have 4 cafeteria lines, so that moves along very quickly to get your scouts to the tables. They will be at the same tables throughout the course of the week. Raven Knob Grace is something that we use at several of the meals, so you may want to practice that on troop camping trips prior to camp to make sure the scouts have memorized Raven Knob Grace. I mentioned our commissioner service. We've got an outstanding commissioner service headed up this year by Alex Marvin, and Alex and his team will be working with you in various areas of the camp. They'll come by to visit your campsite each morning to make sure things are going well for you and your scouts. We have a Vesper service that we will do most every evening of camp. That'll follow along right after dinner, and we would certainly encourage your scouts and leaders to take part in the Vesper service. The museum at Raven Knob is one of the best museums anywhere in the country, and our guys do an awesome job with that, and it'd be a great activity to plan to take your troop down to the museum and do a tour there. There's a lot of Raven Knob memorabilia and history, as well as history of scouting in general. The trading post is always a popular format there. We have boys that visit there on a regular basis. We do take debit cards and Visa cards there as well. The hours are posted. Lost and found, fishing permits, all that's pretty standard. In the Scoutmasters Lounge, we have wireless internet available there. If you need to contact the outside world, we have that facility there is set up to do that. There's also a charging station there where you can secure your telephone and have it charged and make sure that that's ready for you when you come back a short time later. Contacting the outside world is pretty much standard fare. It does talk some more about the internet and email messages there. Visitors night is Wednesday night, and if you'd like to have folks come and join us, the campfire will start about 8:15 down in the OA Arena. A lot of troops have a family night picnic brought in. Some others eat food that we have there from the camp dining hall. So we'll be glad to help you with that as we move through. We would ask that folks carpool as much as possible and that you remind your guests and visitors as they come into camp that the speed limit is 5 miles an hour just for the safety of everybody in camp. At the bottom of page 40, it talks about service for leaders. We can always use assistance there from leaders if you have a particular skill. If you're an electrician or a carpenter, a mechanic, we've always got projects in camp that we could use assistance with. Check that out. Read through the rest of it. It's pretty standard as we move along. The honor troop and merit troop information is posted there as well. A campsite inspection is on page 42, and then the directions to camp on 43. Then the next 2 pages there are the program registration codes. This is one of the most significant pieces in the whole booklet. It will help you and help your parents as you select merit badges for your boys to take part in over the course of the week. We generally recommend that a boy not take a full 6 hours of instruction. Let him have 1 hour off to enjoy the camp, do free swim, maybe take a hike to the knob or whatever that may be. You can select the schedules, though, as you work down through there. In doing that, please note that the codes have some rhyme or reasoning to them. If you look, for instance, at canoeing 341, the digit 3 indicates it's an aquatics merit badge. The middle digit, the 4, indicates the level of difficulty. And then the 1 indicates the instructional hour in which it begins. We have 6 instructional hours in the course of the day. So you can help plan your boys' sessions by looking at that code. If you've got a first-year scout, he probably does not need to be in a a 364 or what have you. He needs to be in something a little lighter and easier for him to take hold of and be successful with. Okay? Help us with that, and it'll make sure your boys have a better week with us at Raven Knob. Follow through that. Look at those merit badge sessions. Help your scouts to where if they're in nature, they're really not going to have time to get to shooting sports and vice versa in the morning. They need to do one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Kind of plan your sessions like that, and it'll certainly make it better for your scouts. That's pretty much the coverage in the book. There's a map on the back that shows you on the Leader's Guide where the different sessions are held, so you can help in that planning effort. Okay? As you move along, if you have questions, by all means, please let us know. The easiest way to reach all of us is to send us an email. Registration@ravennob.com is probably the best way to contact Adam, Nate, and Evan. If you'd like to contact me, you can send an email to campdirector@ravennob.com, and I'll be glad to assist you. I'm in and out of the office quite a bit, so I'm not always near the phone. But if you need to call me, you can call me on my cell phone at 336-408-3546. Thank you so much for being with us this evening, and I appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you at Raven Knob in just a couple of months. Any other questions? We good? Going once? Going twice? All right, folks. Good scouting. We'll see you soon. Thank you.